difficulties. And during your class exercise, when I give a few of the assignment, you will find out that why it is data cleaning and finding the correct variable is how difficult it is. So the idea is you should start with the objective, then data sampling, go and collect a few pilot data. See that, because see a lot of it is not only about software, right? Because you are using academic software, most of us it is free, right? At least next 1 year license is free. But whenever a company is investing, even in the Python or whichever freeware or open source software you would talk about, you need resources who can code in that, right? Which again might be costly for a company, right? So without understanding why or whether the data analytics projects will be successful for them, they are not going to invest in that, right? So initial kind of, or any effort, if they put next 3 months or 6 months to build a data pipeline and work on that and see that whether it has certain business value or not, it won't happen that okay somebody wants to do it. It has to make a business sense in the sense it should, ideally any business, for a business it is essential that they make money, right? If I am investing in this project, whatever, 5 crore or 1 crore or 2 crore, next 5 years I should get those returns from this project, right? And that is where the conflict will come, because in ideal scenario, if I get all the information, I'll be able to build a perfect model. But there is no perfect model. You will not be able to build a model which will predict with 100% accuracy. So what is the accuracy level the business wants, and with how much accuracy level you can provide as a data analyst with the information which is available to you, right? And that is the big difference, because in the classroom I am providing certain data sets. There you have to tell, you have to generate data. Sometimes you have to go and find the data. Whenever you do certain kind of research, you have to go to different websites, create those Python tools, or use those Python tools to carry out certain web scraping. So you have to sometimes collect data also, maybe primary or maybe secondary, right? And that is somewhere we'll come back later on also. We'll try to focus a little bit, put more importance in that, because this data modeling is maybe 10 or 15% of work. The major issue happens if you do not have the correct data and if you are not able to build the kind of better model, right? Which is possible, right? Think about any kind of business challenge. Uh, this has happened, COVID has happened, and a lot of businesses are losing money. And some businesses obviously have made profit. If certain things you want to predict, if you do not take the COVID data at least for the last 2 years, your model will be incomplete. But maybe getting the COVID data and kind of cleaning it, maintaining it, how easy or how much effort you have to put, that again you have to decide before telling that yes, I need COVID data. Because getting data, collecting data, cleaning data, modifying data, all of them are costly. When I say costly, you need to put certain effort, and that is where the biggest challenge comes. Which kind of data you have to collect, okay, uh, where to collect, how to store it, how to process it, right? So this is something which we had started discussing last class. Again, whenever we discuss any kind of analytics, we'll come back again and again. So I'll not put much, again, I'll not repeat the things what we discussed last class, but we'll go through few high level of examples, right? Again, what kind of analytics we are going to do. So remember certain names in certain questions. So when I say target variable, right, which I'm going to predict, right? What is the variable of importance? That is my target, right? Sometimes in the question or somewhere, if you carrying out a case study, it might have written as the outcome or response variable. The meaning remains same. In the particular case, the data set I had given you last class. So you have to decide which is your target variable, right? So there are few variables, like let's say whether somebody has claimed insurance or not. So that was 1 or 0. Somebody has claimed insurance 1, not claimed 0. Then obviously the number of children, gender, what is their kind of premium charges, which state are they from, right? So there are different variables. Out of that, from the business side and from your side, you have to decide which can be a target variable, which is the thing I'm interested in, which is the thing, if I'm able to predict, that will make more sense to the business. So you have to start with that. And then the number of cases, number of, if you go to that, the number of rows in our that Excel or CSV file, there are around 1300, 38 kind of responses, right? So those are the cases. Then input variables. Input variables are the variables which help us to predict the target variable, right? So that's why they are known as predictors, they are known as explanatory variables, they are known as inputs, and this you might have heard in certain cases it is known as also features, and that is where the kind of feature engineering concept came, right? How you modify and how you work with features, that is nothing but feature engineering. But it is not a very kind of a new concept. You already know whenever you uh, read about quantitative techniques or business research methods, whenever you carry out a regression or any kind of analysis, whichever variables help you to predict something, those are called predictors or explanatory variables or input variables or features, right? So how, why I'm telling you this, because in some cases, some questions, some case studies, names will be different. So these concepts or these definitions you have to remember. That time you should not tell that I do not know what is the outcome variable or what is a response variable. The meaning remains same. Target variable is same as your outcome variable is equal to response variable. The area of the variable is of your interest. Then the main challenge is with what kind of predictor variables I need to collect, because this information in the classroom scenario, like I have given you that data set, this information won't be available to you, right? 90% of the times, if the company is not collecting data in a structured manner, this is something you have to find out. Think about the insurance industry. If your management wants to understand which are the good predictors which will tell me the profit I make from each individual, right? I want to maximize my profit. I want to understand how this profit which I get from my customers can be maximized, can be predicted. For that, what are the information I need, right? And remember that the each information you are collecting, that is costly, because you might have to go and collect the primary data, carry out survey or collect data, or from secondary data means you have to pay money to research agencies who will give you that data, or from your database also. If you have a database which have those information, maintaining that database is also costly. How many tables you are maintaining, how many data sources that database is collecting information from, right? And that is costly. Remember, it is not that uh, it is free and you are using free resources of data. So anything you are using in your model need to make sense. So that is about your so from this slide, the main point what you want to take is the different names of input variables and the different names of target or output variables, right? And that is somewhere the people get confused. Okay, so let's say we want to carry out a target marketing, right? Any kind of, let's say, your Amazon, Flipkart, or Nika, Myntra, right? They do a lot of target marketing. So what can be my outcome variable or response variable, right? So this is y is my target or outcome variables. So this is 1 or 0. 1 means somebody has responded, 0 means somebody has not responded, right? So I want to understand, if I am able to understand the customers with certain information about their demographics, purchase history, can I predict whether they will respond to my marketing? Just imagine a scenario. The companies send different emails to you, right? They promote through Instagram, they promote through Facebook. Rather than sending that email, that Facebook post or the Instagram post, to 10 crore or 100, 20 crore, 140 crores population in India. Maybe that many not using Instagram, but let's say 10 crore or 20 crore. But not 10 crore or 20 crore of populace who are using Instagram are the actual customer of that company, right? Out of that, maybe 5 lakh or 10 lakh or 1 lakh are the actual customers for that company. So rather than targeting, because whenever you are sending an advertisement, it is costing to you. Facebook advertisement, Instagram, WhatsApp, whichever method you use, you are going to pay money to that company or the platform which you are going to use. So for each customer you are targeting, it is going to cost you. It might be few pesos, right? 50 paisa, 1 rupee, something like that, or 2 rupees, something like that. But still it is a money. If you are targeting 10 lakh customers more, you are going to pay 10 lakh multiplied by 20 lakhs just to show that advertisement in that Instagram reel or Facebook page. Is there a way I can save that money rather than showing that to all the visitors of or all the people who have Facebook account or Instagram account? On what parameters I'm going to choose selected customers to whom if I show that advertisement, they'll respond better way, right? So that is where I can predict whether they'll respond to my advertisements or not, right? So that is where your target marketing comes into picture. But the point or the difficulty happens, what kind of information I require. So these are my predictors, these are my features, these things I have to find out. Which are the good predictors, good features I should use in my model, with which I'll be able to predict whether certain customer is going to respond to my marketing or not. Is it clear or any doubt why it is important to predict whether somebody is going to kind of respond to our advertisement or not, or marketing or not? Imagine a scenario. Advertisement is not free, right? If you are creating a website, you are putting those, it is your own website also, it is costing you money, right? Whenever you are making social media advertisement through Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp or Twitter, LinkedIn, anything, right? The platform is going to charge you money. If you are a business account, right? Then how to make sure that rather than targeting, rather than sending those posts to all the users, how to reduce that to a limited number of users so that I can maximize my revenue, right? Because if I am able to find out those few people, those few kind of uh, potential customers who are actually going to respond to my advertisement, that means they are going to buy my product or services, then it will be much more beneficial to me. Think about this can be utilized for a Udemy course or edX course, right? Coursera. Lot of time they send you mail saying that why don't you take a course and pay money for that. Which kind of segmentation you will do, and you will find out that okay, these are the people who respond to my advertisement better. Rather than sending emails, rather than sending posts to everybody, I'll only target this many people. Okay. So that is the use of predictive analytics in target marketing. Attrition prediction, right? Attrition can be of different types. Customer attrition, when customers are leaving your company, right? So that can be used in a sales and marketing. It can be utilized in your human resources also, which is a big thing nowadays, right? Some of you or most of you might have taken human resource analytics. One of the big use case is kind of people leaving company. Can I predict that, right? So here basically it is showing about the customers, but again I can use the same model or similar model to use or predict which are the customers or which are the employees who are going to move out from my company, right? Leave the company. Then what are the variables? If it is a customer which is at the risk of churn or moving away, how to predict that? Which will be the predictors or the features? Is there age group, income group, gender, or the purchase habit, social status. So the point is, whenever I'm talking about features and when we discuss a little bit about why it is very difficult to add so many features, what are the problems, something like multicollinearity and all those things, we'll come to know that it is not always better to add more features or more predictors, right? How to find out those predictors? But again, the idea is I'll be able to optimize my predictors, optimize my those input variables so that my output prediction, right? Whatever outcome variable I'm predicting is better. Credit scoring, right? Last class we are discussing something on this. Credit scoring is basically if you see your CIBIL score. Based on my past purchase habit, I'm getting a CIBIL score. What is my credit score? Whether it is 600, 700 or 800. How to create that scoring method? Because that score will help to give a whether I'm going to give you a credit card or not, whether I'll give that person a loan or not, right? So again, like different variables can be utilized as input variables, predictors, and my output variables can be paid or defaulted, right? Based on those credit card users, let's say for a Citibank or a Amex card, there are millions of customers. So they know each them for those customers, they have a lot of details. Out of that, they know that which are the customers who have defaulted, who have actually paid regularly their credit kind of whatever the credit amount, and that will help them to decide whether this persons I should give a credit card or not, right? The other way is to find out their credit score, right? Which basically these organizations like CIBIL do. Same method. Fraud detection, same thing what we're discussing. One of the use cases of predictive analytics, basically for the credit card companies, insurance companies, banks, right? Whether a potential customer is going to commit fraud or not, right? And today's world, it is has become a necessity, right? Earlier, people used to put money, some companies used to, some banks used to put money. Now it is kind of a mandatory because fraud instances are increasing like anything. Same thing, whether I'm able to using my past data, am I able to predict whether somebody is going to commit fraud or not, right? If there is a potential problem that this person with this kind of background might commit a fraud, I'm not going to give that loan, or I'm not going to sanction, or I'll like kind of when somebody is buying something, I will stop the credit card purchases, right? And I think I was discussing that same example last class, right? If you are going outside India and you have not informed your bank, and if you make certain purchases outside India, your credit card will automatically get blocked because they are using that kind of algorithm. Because this person for last 5 years have been using their credit card in India. Suddenly the location has changed, which is a potential for 90% of the time fraud happens from foreign locations. So they will automatically close your card. Again, there are different parameters also in the time of when you are using that credit card, particular locations, right? What actually you are buying, right? Your necessary items. Still, if you're buying in a foreign locations, grocery, food, $10, $12, $20, still it will be okay. But suddenly you go to a foreign country and start buying gold, right? Or expensive items, electronics, it will create a flag, right? So, so that those are the few things. They will collect information and accordingly, algorithm or the model will react. So then, few challenges. Obviously, the problem definition. Because in the classroom, like I said, I'll give you class assignment saying that this is the problem a company is facing, right? And this is the challenge. But most of the real life situation, what actually need to be done, nobody is clear about, right? And that is the fundamental problem when somebody talks about data analytics. This is the fundamental problem. Yes, it is not about Excel, it's SAS or R or Python. What actually is my problem? Not necessarily every time I have to use data analytics. Sometimes it can be solved with common sense also. Data availability, that part I have already discussed. Model evaluation, right? Because we are not, data is available to us most of the time, software is free for us, right? So we are not thinking about the time it takes to create a model, time it takes to clean the data, time it takes to maintain the database, right? But when in the actual life we'll go, we'll realize that getting data, maintaining data, processing data is not that easy. And then we'll realize that okay, sometimes you might have to go with a poor model which is giving, let's say, 60 or 70% accuracy, rather than waiting for a near perfect model, investing lot of money. So that time the decision has to be better. If I'm able to create a model which is able to accurately predict 65%, 75%, let me go with it, right? Rather than, so it can be called as something minimum viable analytics, right? Rather than waiting for a perfect analytical model, right, which will never come because I might not have data for that. Model explanation, right? There are two part to model explanation. First part is obviously the management. Let's say the CMO, directors, general managers, they might not understand logistics regression, or they might not understand this your multiple regression. If I go and talk about my adjusted R-square is better, that's why I'm choosing this model. Or in logistics regression, I'll talk about my odds ratio. Similarly, entropy, indecision tree entropy, and all those things. If I talk about statistics, if I talk about those parameters, nobody is going to understand that. So now the challenge will come to understand the math behind it and try to simplify for those your audience, for the people who are going to get insights from your data analytics, because they won't care that how good visualization you have carried out, how much detailed analysis you have done. So they have 10 minutes, 15 minutes to understand by doing your analysis what they're going to get, whether it will increase their revenue or decrease their cost, by how much. And that simplification has to happen both in case of data visualization, exploratory data analytics, also here in the predictive data analytics also. So that is the explanation to your own management. Second part is a regulatory requirement. That means for the companies like pharma, banking, there are a lot of issues, right? In mostly in Europe and US, countries like US. India still it is a nascent stage. Think about a bank, let's say American Express City. So they are denying credit card or loans to certain group of individuals, right? And a lot of debate, lot of fight, lot of anxiety happens in USA due to difference of color, difference of certain section of society has been segregated. So if your model is doing those kind of, because model is a mathematical model, right? It is using statistics, basic statistics to predict something. But if they are taking certain parameters like that, if somebody is from certain religion or certain background or certain, let's say, kind of race, and they are not getting the loan, they are not getting the credit card, it will become a legal or regulatory issue. So there is a regulatory requirement. Whichever input variables, features you are using your model, whenever audit happens, you should be able to explain that, right? Earlier, what used to happen when data analytics or the machine learning algorithms came? Array, this is a neural network. I do not know what happens. That is a black box. That is the simplest answer. Audit or the regulators will not listen to you. They will ask that, tell me what are the input variables you have taken. Explain to me that. And that is where the second part of data explainability comes. Whenever, if in case you work in a bank, right? So you need to create those documentation. Creating model is a different thing. Creating documentation for your model, making sure that you are not using certain variables which are sensitive in nature, right? Which will impact your credibility of your organization, whether it is a bank or a credit card company or pharmaceuticals, right? Pharmaceuticals, let's say this drug testing happens, right? And it should happen randomly. The test group and control group should be selected randomly. But if you are using certain parameters which always prefer certain kind of individuals, right, then it becomes a big issue, big concern. So that's why few industries, there are regulatory requirement that whichever analytical model you are going to use, algorithm, you should be able to explain that. When I say explain, what kind of features, input variables you are using, it should be clearly mentioned. Okay, I'm using this and this is the impact of this variable. It should not be in a position saying that okay, this is a black box, I just put those input variables and model runs and this I get the result, right, which used to happen earlier. So these are the few major challenges in data analytics. So here if you see the last challenge, so that is where now lot of emphasis is being given to data documentation. What kind of data you are using and how you are documenting it, right? Any questions on this? So you can see that mostly R and this is for predictive analytics, right? If I show you machine learning, I think Python has the 70% market everywhere, irrespective of industry. So this is basically for the predictive analytics part. SaaS has a good market share. Mostly financial services, banks, they use a lot of banks and pharma. They use a lot of SaaS. This enterprise Mirror Studio, then SaaS via analytics. A lot of new softwares has come up. Lot platforms. Then R is also gaining ground, and in between, obviously Python for backend and front end activities. But again, this is for the predictive analytics part. If I go and show you machine learning, which are the softwares, almost Python and R, maybe SaaS, maybe 5% or 10%. That's why they're creating a new machine learning platform to compete with R and Python. So this part we have discussed last class, difference between folders and libraries, right? Folders is somewhere where you store your file, right? You cannot work on a file which is stored in your laptop or a desktop, right? You have to upload that into the folder of SAS Studio, then create a library, because we discussed that in the last class, right? SAS cannot work in the different data format. SAS will work only in the files which are formatted in SAS format, right? SAS7 BAT star.SAS7 BAT, right? So that is the SAS format. Like for your Excel, either star.xls or star.xlsx, right? So that is something. So library becomes a bridge between your analytics or whatever analysis you are going to do and your data, right? Data is stored in your folder. Library converts the data into a SAS file, right? If I run that, it will store in the library. Library doesn't convert it. I convert through a program and store that in the library, right? And from the library, I will kind of take the file, take the SAS file and work on that, right? My original file remains same, whatever CSV, Excel or any kind of file, SPSS I have taken, it still remains in the folder. So when I run a program, right, it converts that file to a SAS file, and whichever work I want to do, that has to happen on that SAS file. This part we did discuss in the last class. Then there are few kind of folders or libraries which will automatically get created. There is a library called work, right? Whenever you open your SAS Studio, irrespective of you have created any file or not, that work library will be there. So anytime you work, you have not created a library, you are working in your SAS Studio or Enterprise Miner, it will get stored in the work library, right? Then library names. So last class we did create that library. I had created that library called PAUS 2021. This session for you 2021 batch. What is this keyword lib name? I'll show you in Enterprise Miner today, right? So whenever I want to create a library, right? So I have to use that lib name. In SAS Studio, I just run that program and created a library. But if you're writing code, right, in SAS base or Enterprise Miner, right, I have to give that line lib name. What is the name of the library, right? So that is the lib name statement. So there are few constraint or few kind of rules you have to follow whenever you are putting the name of the library. It can be only 8 characters, right? Must begin with a letter and a underscore, letter or underscore, right? Not end. It can be either start with a letter or underscore. If I start a library name with number 2021 PAUS, it will not take, right? In between numbers are okay, but not the start part. Starting character cannot be a number in SAS library. Can contain only letter, number, underscores. Blanks are not allowed. In between I cannot put a blank in the library name, right? So these are the few conventions or rules you have to follow. It has to be of 8 character. It cannot start with a number, and it cannot have a blank in between, right? Any questions on this up to this point?
No, sir.
Then tables we have seen, we have opened that insurance data and seen what are the different columns. So columns, rows make a table, right? Then now the variables, right? Variables is those column headings, right? So the like library, right? Those column names also have certain understanding or conventions. Same thing, but here it can be of 32 characters, right? A library can be 8 characters, right? Library is the location where your SAS files or SAS tables are stored, right? SAS variables, those column names, right? If I go back and so this make is one column, type is one column, origin, the continent from which it is originating, drivetrain, the type of drivetrain, then the maximum retail price, right? What is the retail price? So that is the, these are all variables, right? These are the column headings, column names. Must start with a letter A to G, not case sensitive or underscore. A name may not include blank. Here the rule remains same. Neither a library nor your variable can have a blank in between. May include numbers but not as the first characters. Again the same rule. In library also I cannot start with a number. May include upper case or lowercase characters, but variable names are case insensitive, right? So if I start with a P capital A U S small, one column name, then all capital, it will not take both column names, right? Because both of them, SAS will read them both as same. So it is character insensitive, right? That means case insensitive. Case insensitive. That means it will not, it will treat whether it is uppercase, that means capital, or small case letters as same. Should be descriptive of the variable. Obviously, this is the thing which you might have gone through the earlier classes also, right? Whenever you are naming a variable, it should represent what actually you are going to. Like if I am, let's say age, right? Rather than XYG, naming that variable as XYG or Zeta or something, I should just write age, right? Because that variable defines the age of the customers or the age of the employees, right? So that is something, the best practice. Then okay, which one are correct variable names? Age in 2000, whether this can be a variable name or not. The first one, age in 2000.
Sir,
Why?
space is there.
The blanks.
Yes, the blank spaces are there. It is not allowed. Second one, 2000 measles count.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Why?
The number
Starting with
system.
number. Starting with numbers.
Correct. Good. So then similarly here also space is there. Here also if you see it's starting with a character, but again there is a blank space, right? Weight in kg, again there are blank spaces. What about this one? Age in 2000.
Well, there should be underscore rather than hyphen.
Now if I put hyphen, whether it will take it or not.
No.
Anyone else? Okay, try both of them, whether underscore and hyphen. Underscore anyhow it will take. Look into like whenever you name a variable, try to rename it with a hyphen. check that whether it is taking it or not, right? So remember those rules, conventions, which is applicable for both library and variable names. Okay, so this concludes your last class slides, which I had not discussed. So quickly we'll go through SAS Studio and Enterprise Miner. We'll try to just look into how to do analytics. Then we'll come back and discuss few other things also. Okay, I hope all of you have opened your SAS Studio. Or my
Yes, sir.
just a moment. Also, like I said, you open the Enterprise Miner also. We will discuss that again. Like when I say discuss, just how to open it and run few analytics, how that platform works. Okay, mine have been session has been over. Okay. Okay. So what we are going to do today? So let us first see the table which we had created. So I had this insurance SAS 7B DAT, right? So that was the SAS file which was created last class, and you can see here also, right? This file, right? So let me close this one. Okay. So this is my blank screen. Let us first open or see what the file which you have created. This, if I double click it, so this is the insurance file which I had given to you, right? So there are around 1338 rows. Those are the customer information. Total columns are 9, right? Those are the features input variables. So I have a feature called age, then gender, right? Then BMI, children. This is basically number of children, right? 0 means no children, then different number. Then which state that customer is from, smoker, whether that person is a smoker or not, 1 or 0. Then charges, the amount of money till now the insurance company has collected. Insurance claim, 1 or 0, right? Whether somebody has claimed money or not. If they have claimed, obviously what is the claim amount? 0 means they have not claimed, there won't be any claim amount. So this is, let's say, the data set is given to us. But like I said, actually it happens other way around. You have a problem, you collect data, then carry out data analytics, right? But in classroom, I'm just providing you data set, because if I start giving you to collect data, we don't know when we will finish this up, right? But remember the difficulty which you will face when you go and that is somewhere like at least we'll try to see that during class assignments. I'll give you the data sources. The idea will be you will be able to download data and clean it and carry out data analytics, right? And which kind of data you want to download, that will be your challenge. So this is, let's say, this is the data set, or this is the information you have collected. Now what will happen, what kind of data analytics you can carry out, anyone, what kind of prediction you want to do. Say if these are the 9 columns, these are the information which is available to you. Go by the like one by one column. If you look into, So this is age. Will we be like from the business side, if it's the insurance data, will you be interested in predicting someone's age, right? Or whether it will be possible with the information which you have available, right? Then the gender, whether somebody is male or female, BMI, right? These are the numbers. So that is where your business perspective has to come into picture. If I just give you this data and I ask you carry out a predictive analytics, which should be your input variables and which should be your output variables, right? Or outcome variables or target variables, right? Anyone?
Age would be my input variable.
No,
Children will also.
we'll come back to input variables later. Out of these, the variables which are there for you, right? There are 9 variables. Which one or few do you think that can be your target variables or outcome variables?
So claim, insurance claim.
Okay, insurance claim, that is 1 or 0, right? Somebody who has claimed or somebody who has not claimed. Okay, then what else? Think from the think.
Children,
Yeah, go on.
can children be our output variable or target variable?
Okay, why do you think for an insurance agency or for an insurance organization, which is the variable they'll be interested in? They'll be interested in to know or predict. First thing, I
Sir,
completely agree whether
smoker,
somebody has claimed
non-smoker.
or not. Okay,
Sir, age range.
age range for what?
Sir, it will be better for targeting now, because more the age range, they will have more problems, health problems. So it will affect the cost.
What will you predict? See, at the end, you are creating a model, you will predict something.
Claim, we can depend on the age. We can see the claim ratio, like
Yeah, so
the
that
more.
predictors will come later on, which can be good predictors or not. What I'm asking you, for an insurance company, right? Which are the variables they'll be interested in? Which are the variables they will like to know or want to predict? Will age be the one they'll want to predict? Will they want to predict the age of their customer? These are all
Yes, sir.
customers, right? 1300, 13, 38, right?
Sir,
Yes,
they
sir.
might want to know whether most of the claims are coming from the northern part of India or southern part of India with respect to the states.
Okay. So then which are the variables they will be interested in that case?
Insurance claim and the state. These two variables would be the ones. Added to that, they can also find out if there is more number of males coming from, suppose we are targeting and getting.
Again, you are getting into the solution part, right? Without,
Yes.
so define your problem part. That's what I was telling you in the framework, right? Think about, you have an insurance company and insurance your management told we are collecting through data, right? And they do not understand how to go about this analytics, right? So they have hired you, right? So now you are defining the problem, what you want to predict for that company, right? Like you said, I want to predict the insurance claim, whether somebody is claiming or not, right? See, all of these things we can predict, right? So my model is a
Yes.
mathematical or statistical model. If I go and say that, okay, I'll create 9 models, so I each one of them I'll take and permutation combinations will do, right? It will take a lot of time. Maintaining them, collecting different data will take a lot of time, because this I have just shown you sample data. Actual data will have maybe few lakhs of rows. Now the challenge is which one the company will be interested in to understand or know. Obviously, one thing is that whether somebody is claimed or not. Because if somebody is claiming, the next step will be They don't want to know what kind of analytics you did. If they are able to predict, okay, this person is going to claim, right, then that means when they are deciding the premium charges for him, they can put certain amount, additional amount, right? That is the business insight they should get. If I can predict that, okay, certain age group, certain state, from certain areas, they are claiming, or they always claim certain insurances, right? So I will put that, I'll put more premium charges for them. So that is the business insight you are going to get. But that is the second step, right? Now what I'm trying to find out in my first step, whether somebody is claiming or not. So that is my first step, first insight I'm going to give. If you give me the input variables, I'll be able to tell which are the customers who are potentially going to claim, right, or who are potentially not going to claim. That I can predict, right? So that is a good business problem to solve. Like that, I'm asking what can be other things. Theoretically, all of them I can predict. I can predict the age of my customer. I can predict the gender of my customer, who are like whether male or female, who are prefer, like if I equally advertising to both male and female, who are potentially my preferred customer, who are taking much more kind of this whatever this insurances from my company. Then I can predict the BMI also, right? But whether I'll be able to explain that, whether that is something which will be interested. Imagine what I told you, modern explainability. If I start claiming something on the BMI, I'm predicting someone's BMI. I'm predicting somebody's smoking habit. I'm predicting somebody's gender, whether somebody will be taking kind of this insurance or not, right? So that might indirectly create questions for me. That is something also you should be aware of whenever you are using demographics. And here I have not put certain sensitive information, caste information. If you are collecting, obviously that is illegal in India, and you do create certain model, you like kind of your company might get like so many regulatory or legal problems, right? So now the challenge which happens, and what we are discussing right now, how to first create those few business problems which actually the company will get benefited from. Insurance claim, no doubt, that is something which I am interested in, right? Whether somebody is going to claim or not, if I am able to predict that, that will help me. How it will go to help me? Because I can know that whether I'll make money from that customer or not, which is the business objective, right? The more money I can make from my customers. So this is something where again you have to create that business objective in the beginning, right? The charges, can I predict how much charges, the premium amount they're paying? Because the more premium amount they pay, the better. Can I predict the claim amount? The less they claim, it is better, right? Because this is the charges they are paying to the company. The more they pay money, it is better for the company. The less they claim, that is better. So rather than predicting both of them, charges and claim amount separately, can I create a single variable which is a profit to my company, right? Because these charges is nothing but revenue from each customer. Let's say the customer number one, who is not a smoker, who is from Uttar Pradesh, till now I have collected 2,203 rupees, but he has already claimed once and claimed 2,700 rupees. That means that customer has made a loss for me, right? Because he has just paid 2,200 up to this point, but taken 2,700, right? Same thing if I go to the second customer, right? This customer, which is up to this point, he is from Kerala, non-smoker, has given me money of 11,272, not claimed. Claim amount is 0. From this customer, I made money up to this point, 11,272, right? So this is where I can introduce a new variable, right? Calling it as, let's say, profit or whatever money I am earning, right? Is this part clear? How am I defining? So I'll show you both of them. Insurance claim as a predictor, sorry, not a predictor, my outcome variable, also my profit. See, like I said, everything I can predict, right? but which is the thing which my company will be interested in. What you other said, let's say age, your state, that is something which I can create a cluster, but individually if I student, that is why the cluster analysis is little bit helpful. Because if I just take one variable and start saying that okay, females male, right, and this I'll target to females and this I'll target to male, right, that might later create certain challenges. Cluster variable, how it helps, it takes multiple variables and create different clusters, so multiple variables in a single point of time, right. Anyway, we have not discussed cluster analysis now, we'll discuss later on. Now today we'll just predict and simple regression, right. We'll start predicting with using simple regression or multiple regression. Again, theoretical part I have not discussed, hoping that you at least remember something of regression, how it is used. Later on in the next class we'll get into details of it, right. Today we are just creating the model using both SAS Studio and Enterprise Miner, right. So the first step is, obviously I have this variable insurance claim, right. 10, this variable is already there, that is my target or outcome variable that I want to predict. I'll create another variable called profit, right. How to create that, so that is somewhere few lines of coding will come, right. So what to do, click on this, there is something called new options, right. Click on this new SAS program, right. Everybody is in this page.
Yes, sir.
So first just copy me what I'm writing, then I'll explain line by line, right. Data So one good thing about SAS is you need not have to remember, because if you have written code in R or Python, right? So they structure up your program. You need to have some hierarchy, right? Here you just write like a text, you just write like what you want to create an analysis, right? Everybody has written now. Just give few minutes. Make sure that the spelling is correct everywhere, right? Otherwise it will create different columns. The category CATEGORY, same thing you are writing everywhere. So what basically we are writing, right? Data is basically whenever we are writing this command or statement data, we are asking SAS to create a new table, new file, right? What I did, so what I said data, that means create a new table in library. So I gave the library name. So I have created this library PAUS 2021. So I said that okay, in this library PAUS 2021 dot insurance 3. So this file is not there. If you see insurance 3 file is not there. So I said you create this file insurance 3, and you can give some other name also, insurance regression or something like that, or insurance R, whatever it is. Then I defined length category 30. Why I did that? This later on also I could have done that, because by default when column names are being written, default length is 8, but as you know the variable name can be 1 to 32 characters. Here overweight is 9 characters, right? So in that case what would have happened? Over WEIG, up to that only it would have printed. So what I said, make sure the length of the category, so category I have not created, but I'm saying I'm going to create a column called category. That length will be defined as 30 units, right? Or I can say 10 units or 12 units. So basically it will be covering the overweight. So main thing from this what we are writing here, two important concept or statement. Data is something which you ask SAS to create. Anytime you ask SAS to create a new file or new table in the library, right? So that is where you use the command or statement as data, right? Then there is a temporary, if you are creating a temporary file and a permanent file. Whenever this you are giving a library name dot file name, that is a permanent file. If I just say insurance 3, right, it will create a temporary file, it will stay in the work folder, and once I close out, if I do not save, I'll lose all my working. But intentionally I wanted to create a permanent file, so that whenever I open, always that insurance 3 file will be there, right? So when we discuss in the slide also, I'll give you certain input. Then set, whenever I say set, now which is the data file I'm going to work on, right? Because this file is not there, right? Data, I said you create a new file, but that is blank. Now I'm telling refer to the insurance file which is there, then start reading that line by line, and whichever I'm going to give you the command, make those changes and save it in the new your kind of data file insurance 3. Just imagine yourself creating a let's say you have a Excel file. What do? Excel file, open it, then file save as, you put some name, right? Let's say version 2 or version 3, then start making changes. So when you say save as, right, so this is the first step what we did. We put created opened a existing file and say that save as data insurance 3, and this is the action of opening and reading this file, right? Existing file I'm reading and making certain changes, but these changes will not be stored in the original file, it will be stored in the new file which I have created, that is insurance 3, right? So our intention and objective was that there was no column called profit, right? So because there were charges, the amount of money customers have charged, there was this claim amount also, right? So charges minus claim amount, make sure that the spelling is correct. So that's why, sorry, charges minus claim amount, that will give you the profit. Then this at least today it is not required, but anyhow we are creating, again will not create a separate file or modify. This is the if else statement. So if you remember, BMI data is in a quantitative data, right? So that is numbers 23.8, 30, it is given. BMI is your body mass index, right? Your weight by your average height, and there is a formula to calculate that. If it is more than 30, it is obese. If it is 25 to 30, that is overweight. Ideally, it should be less than 25, right? So if you see, there is no column called category. So that is something again we asked SAS to create. If you go to column name BMI is less than 25, then create a category called healthy. So in the category, write that healthy. If is between number is between 25 to 30, then it is overweight. If it is greater than BMI is greater than or equal to 30, it is obese, right? Then remember, all your SAS statement need to end in a semicolon, right? So that is the kind of most happen, that is the error which occurs most of the times, right? Whenever you miss a semicolon, and you have to end any SAS program with a run command, right? Run, then semicolon. Anybody who was not written this?
सर एक बार सर लेंथ वाला एक्सप्लेन कर सकते?
Yeah, so length, why we have given, again if I remove this, okay, first let me remove this, then I'll show you why I was doing that. Okay, we'll come back to the length part just after 2 minutes. Then write data set. Everybody is clear about what does data do and what does set do, right? Simply if you remember Excel, when you open in the existing file, right? So that is the set command, opening and reading it. Data command is,
it case sensitive?
can you
Or
come
we can
again?
write data length set in lowercase also.
Yeah, if you write in lowercase also, it's okay.
Okay, sir.
So if else command, I think everybody should be clear. Same thing what we just generally write in Excel, right? Obviously there we put certain bracket. Here there is no bracket, there are only semicolon. So data, we created a new file in the library, insurance 3. Then set is basically running the existing file, reading the existing file line by line, then creating these changes. So I said create a new column, profit, which is equal to charges minus claim amount. So that column will be created. Then also I said them to, or asked us to create a column called category. Today we won't be using that too much, but later on in the next class, when we get into the details of regression, we'll use that. Everybody has written this. Anyone who has not written this? Okay. So if you have written, just put run. If there are no issue, your output data should come. Okay, that means certain issues were there. Total rows 0. My results. Okay, then I put a wrong thing. Some.
Sir, in claim amount, I think claim underscore amount.
Claim, no, that I put there, right? Did I not put? Okay, sorry. Here I have forgotten then. Else if BMI is greater than equal to 30, then category, right? What else is there? If then Error 22,322. Now ideally it has come. So that
The
was the
last
mistake.
change we did, so that no?
What happened?
The
Yeah, so
last
what I have
mistake.
done, I have not, so I had written if PMI is less than 25, then category. Others I had forgotten to mention this then statement. Actually, it is a if and then, right? If this, then. I had not written then. So that was the error. Else if PMI is greater than 25 and BMI is less than 30. This then I had not written earlier. So that was the problem. That's why. Everybody got the answer?
Sir, I am getting error library PAUS 2021 is not assigned.
Yeah, because you might not have created. So this is the file or this is the library I had created. What name you had given last class? So don't just write PAUS 2021. Write the library which you had created last class, because that I had created in the last class, right? I had given this name.
Sir, it's showing syntax error.
What can you read it out?
Syntax error, expecting one of these characters like star, and or exclamation mark.
You had put this then, if then statement. I
Yes,
had
sir.
forgotten that.
Yes, sir.
Then what else?
It's showing on the profit line.
So I'm also getting this.
That claim amount, I guess, that is where it is.
Profit equal to you put, then you have closed it a semicolon,
Yes, sir.
and this is claim underscore amount. Because if you go and see in this file, the name of the column is in your insurance file. It is, where is this? CLAIM underscore amount.
Yes, sir. Got it.
So I'm still getting the syntax error.
What same thing it is writing?
Yes, sir.
So mine it is showing after the run code. Syntax error.
Log what error? Only it is writing syntax error.
Sir, there are two warnings and one syntax error.
Warnings
But
are
the
okay. Warnings are okay.
syntax error is after the run command.
Have you put a semicolon?
Yes, sir.
Then
And my data is not visible in the new data sheet. There are only columns made in that.
you were naming your which was the library name you had put?
PAUS 2021,
Okay.
and the data set was insurance, just insurance.
Names are correct, right? IN. So just check
Yes.
there's not any spelling mistake.
No, sir, it's all right.
And you are putting same thing. Set PAUS 2021 insurance semicolon, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Only thing is that it is not able to read your basically set command might not be okay. Do one thing. Share your screen. Anybody else kind of facing issue, they can share their screen one by
Yes,
one.
sir. So syntax error.
Okay, first I think Bansika, then Muskan, you can share your screen.
Sir, my problem got resolved. Like
Okay.
Now it's
Then
not showing it.
okay. Muskan.
Yes, sir.
So I'll share after Muskan's.
Okay.
So is it visible?
Yes. So data PUS 2021. Okay. Okay. Go to your code. Okay. This heap, I think BMI here you just put a small.
So
This
okay.
fifth line. Yeah. That should not be a problem. But anyway. So you have created a
Still same error.
yeah length category 30. Remove this for a moment.
So this one.
Yeah. Anyhow, we'll use that again.
Oh shit.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry. Set profit equal to less than 25. Here there is a then category, there is a on the line fifth and BMI. Okay. I will say then BMI greater than 30, then category. Here also you have to write then line 6. Yeah. Just go and check whether profit is showing.
Yes, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Who is next?
So
Yeah, Nessa. Data insurance 3 length. Okay. Can you just put in a full screen mode?
yes, sir.
Data PS to the insurance 3 length category. Profit equal to charges claim amount. And the LCP.
So
Greater
should
than
I
here.
show?
Yeah. So here you just put equal to sign on 7 line. After greater than, put equal to sign. That will close the arc. Then put to run. Go to errors.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, go to the code. And
So the run command is not highlighted, like it is not bold. Is that the reason why it's
no,
not
that should not be. It's run semicolon. That is the okay. 7. You do not have closed the semicolon. Close it. Line number 7.
showing? Oh, okay.
8 also you put a semicolon.
Yes, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Okay. So those of you, some of you have put that length kind of. Where is my? Yeah. So See that I have not put that. I have removed that length statement, length category, dollar symbol, then 30. Dollar symbol is basically define the size or the length of the column name, right? So if I run this and go to my output data, right? And if you see that in the category, it is just showing up to over WEI. Healthy is healthy, obese is showing correctly, but overweight it is showing up to 7 characters, OBE or WEI, right? That's why if you some of you, those of you who put that length defined by dollar symbol 30, for them it will be clearly showing overweight, right? That's why I had asked you to put that length dollar symbol 30, right? If I'm not put also okay, right? We'll come back and discuss that later on, how to make certain changes, rename it, don't worry about it. So now our main objective is to find or create a column, right? So that is profit, and we want to predict that, right? So any kind of analytics, we can use this task and utilities, right? So there are a lot of tools are available. Few are for your kind of exploratory data analysis, this data visualization, which you have done in the Tableau R or Python, right? Different type of chart plotting, right? So I'll not able to spend time on that because our focus will be on basically on the model creation. So I'll directly go to the first one on the. So there are different type of regression. If you see, there is a linear regression logistics, which you might have gone through. Then there are different generalized linear model, mixed model, partial least square regression. We'll try to understand the difference between them, when to use what. So today we'll just start with the simplest predictive. Then later on we'll get into cluster analysis, decision tree, neural networks, other things. So we'll start with the simplest one, linear regression. Double click it. So it will ask you to, first is that you have to choose the data. So coding part is open. Now you just have to go through the drag and drop. So I'm selecting the file insurance 3, which I created because that is where your profit variable is available. So everybody is in this page, linear model. We are in this linear model.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So dependent variable, what is my dependent variable? Remember, which is dependent variable? My target variable or my outcome variable, right? So that is dependent. So what I'm predicting, I'm going to predict my profit, right? Profit for the company from the customers. So that is my dependent variable. So that is the profit. This is the column which I had created. Then these are the classification variable, means categorical variables. Those variables are which are nominal in nature, categorical in nature, right? Which are my classification variables? Age is a number, right? 19, 20, 33, like that is given. Gender 1 or 0, though it is given 1 or 0, it is actually a nominal variable, binary variable, right? Somebody is male or female, right? So that is, so gender is there. Actually we'll rename this to gender. Then BMI, actually rather than BMI, what I've created, I have created something called category, and I'll show you the difference. Right now I'm not taking category as a like kind of a, ideally I should have written that a BMI category. So currently I'm choosing this gender. Then smoker is also a 1 or 0, right? Whether somebody is smoking or not, that is a binary variable, that is again a classification or category variable. Sex or gender, then smoker, then insurance claim. As of now I'm not taking, and I'll tell you next class when we discuss the theoretical aspects of regression. We'll discuss why some variables you should not take. There is a problem of multicollinearity. State I can take. Okay, so these are basically categorical variables. So again, you it is not that you have to follow now. You can choose as per your convenience, but obviously you have to make sure that if let's say you do not take state, make a model without taking state, and create a model taking state as a variable. See the difference, right? So I took gender, smoker, and state. Put OK. Then continuous variable. These are the numerical variables, right? I'll take age and BMI and number of children, because that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So can anybody tell me why I'm not taking these charges and claim amount? Those are also number. Why I'm not taking them?
So profit.
Taking profits.
Yeah, because profit I'm predicting, right? If I take charges and claim amount, it will have a huge multicollinearity, right? Because I'm creating a variable out of these two variables, right? So let's say if you create height, right? Height in meters and height in centimeters, right? And I take height in my dependent variable and height in centimeters in my independent variable, it will give a wrong result. My regression kind of parameters will be high, but it will be like those kind of spurious regression, right? That is something which you should be kind of looking into whenever you are creating new variables, right? Don't take the variables from which you have created a new variable, because how I created profit, charges minus claim amount, right? Obviously there will be high correlation between charges and profit, and there will be high correlation between profit and claim amount, right? Because I'm just created that variable, right? So this I'll put as okay. Then go to model, edit here, click on this, all of this. Just put out. There are different type of effects. We'll come back to that later on. There is kind of nested effect, cross effect. Right now we have not discussed that. When we use this different type of regression, right, we'll come back and discuss that. Right now we are just creating a simple regression model, right? What we have learned in our prior first year classes. Then put okay. Then options, there are actually many statistics, many plots are available. If you just click here default and selected statistics, you will get a lot of options. Again, we are not discussing that today, we are just going by the default statistics, right? No need to make any changes. Selection method, again you can go by the non or stepwise forward selection, backward selection, stepwise selection. I hope all of you remember the difference between them, right? If not, anyhow, we'll spend maybe 5-10 minutes in the next class. Right now I'm not doing anything, just putting none. So that's it. I'll run the regression model. So which R square value is very high here, 0.9540. Adjusted R square is also very high. So anybody remembers what does R square mean? Okay, whether this number is good or bad. If you do not remember what is R square, adjusted R square, don't worry. Next class we'll discuss. But do you remember whether these numbers are good or bad? Higher the number.
Closer
Yes,
to
sir,
one,
good.
it is
More.
better.
Yes. Sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, it is good.
Okay. So what about these plots we'll discuss in the next class. But again, I just showed you how to just create a regression model, right? Again, you did not have to do any coding. Just drag and drop down. Only thing which we coded just to create a new column, right? Then again, if you want to rename or drop any kind of columns, there are few lines you have to write, right? So this is something which I wanted to show you. Do one thing, just save it as
So,
yeah.
sir, I just lost track in the model thing during coding.
Yeah. So in the model, so there will be certain
Yes.
edit option, right? Go to edit. Whatever
Yes, sir.
variables are there, select all of them, either one by one or click on the shift button, click each one of them, right?
Yes, sir.
Then put add.
Mhm.
So what I'm basically telling SAS that take these variables into account when you are creating your model, right? That is the only thing. And the single effect, that means individually I want to find out what is the effect of each variable. So then there are different type of effects, like I think you or Bansik was telling about, right? Under each state, under each gender, who are my customers, right? If I want to create some model like that, I can also create like that. But anyway, that we'll come back and discuss later. Here I'm just creating a simple model. These are my variables. Can I am able to predict my profit? from them. Okay. Once you do that, you just click on this run symbol, your model should run. Okay, I think I have already crossed the time limit, but just one question before I go. Hopefully you remember what this estimate mean, right? When I say age and this is minus 33, how will I interpret this? So for the variable age, it is estimate is showing minus 33. What does it mean?
If the age is higher, the claims are 0. If the age is lower,
Not
then there are more.
claims, right? What we are predicting
Sorry,
right now,
profit.
profit. Yeah,
Profit.
Yeah.
Profit is less.
correct. So in a way, this is telling us if my, again there are other things to read from this table also, but simple thing, the basic thing is if my age is increasing by 1, because that is the interpretation, my 1 unit, my profit estimate is decreasing by 33 rupees, right? For each increase in age, and the profit I'm making from customer is decreasing by 33, right? But again, 33 is a small amount. Children, 937 rupees. That means for each children increase, for that person, if the number of children, same type of person, same age group, same location, everything remains same. But if some person has number of children, let's say somebody has 2 number of children and somebody has 1, from the person who has 2 children, I'm getting a profit of 937 more. So see how it will help to my business. So these are the customers I should not let go from my company. The customer who have more number of children, right? Then again, there, like I said, there are other things to read from the table also. We have not done that. So children age, these are continuous variables, right? It is easy to read. It is easy to interpret. I'll say that somebody who is getting older is giving less profit to me, though it is 33 rupees only. Somebody who, like, as and when they have more children, they will become, maybe they are becoming much more conscious or taking much more, giving me more premium charges. Just imagine, there can be different insights also, right? Somebody who has a no children or only 1 children, they might be recently married or not married at all. Somebody who has been married for 10 or 15 years, they might have more children, right? And they might be paying much more premium charges, and that is where my profit is coming from, right? So number of children increases by 1, I'm getting 937 rupees more profit, right? So these continuous variables interpreting is very easy. Now the problem is this smoker, right, which is a big number, 3230, right? Smoker 1. If you see this kind of how to interpret this, these are categorical variables, somebody who is smoking or somebody who is not smoking, how to interpret that? Because I cannot say that it is he or she is half smoking, right? I'll put either that person is smoking or not. How will I interpret this? Somebody who is not smoking, 0, it is showing 3230, and smoker 1, that is 0. How to interpret this?
So somebody who's not smoking, because of him, the profit increases by 3,200 something. And who is smoking, there is no profit there, I think.
Okay. Anyone else want to make a try?
Sir, the same. If someone isn't smoking, then the profit increases by that amount. And for someone who is smoking, there is no difference in profit.
Okay. So does it mean that somebody who is a smoker, he is giving me 0 profit?
No, sir, not zero profit, but it doesn't affect the profit.
Okay. We'll discuss in detail how to interpret categorical variables, but remember, whenever you have a categorical variables, automatically any program, whether R, Python, SAS, this is the like basic steps in regression. Automatically the model or the software we'll create one base. We'll take one category as a base. So here this smoker, the one, that means those.
Will be related with claim amount.
No, we have not taken claim amount. If you see, we have not taken claim amount at all. If you see, we have not taken the, because we have already taken profit,
Charges. Yes, sir.
right? So what it is telling here is smoker, right? If somebody is smoking, that it is taking as a base, right? So whenever there are categorical variables, how to interpret this? So if I have two persons, two categories, smoker, somebody is smoking, somebody is non-smoking. The non-smoker guy in comparison to smoker is giving me 3,200 whatever 30 rupees profit more. The non-smoker guy in comparison to smoker, so his profit is not absolute. But here what happens? Age or children, for each increase in age, for each increase in number of children, one number of children, I'm getting 937. It is absolute. But here it is always between a comparison with your base. Which is my base? It is, in this case, the model has taken the smoker as a base. So it is not that smoker is giving me no profit or not impact on my profit. But if I compare a non-smoker and a smoker, and I take smoker as a baseline, right? It could have been other way around also. If it is taken smoker 0, that means a non-smoker as a baseline, that is 0, then smoker 1 would have been -3230, right? That means in comparison to a non-smoker guy, this is making me a loss of 3,230 rupees, right? So whenever you interpret categorical variable, it is always with a baseline, and that baseline is decided by the model, right, automatically and randomly, and you have to compare your categorical interpretation with that baseline, right? In this particular case, I will interpret a person who is a non-smoker keeping other parameters same. In regression, remember, that is a must to kind of state that other parameters remaining same. That means those are from the same state, same kind of age group, same number of children, all those things need to be same. Keeping everything same, a non-smoking guy will give me 3,230 rupees more profit in comparison to a smoking guy, right? So more on this in the next class. Unfortunately, I could not show you the SAS Enterprise Miner. We have already 10 minutes over the time. The first thing we do, we'll create a logistics regression in SAS Enterprise Miner in the next class. Then we'll discuss both the models, right? So you can save this in the output, give some name, maybe today 17th. Okay. Okay. Any last question before I close it?
Sir, can you share the recording today?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'll try to upload all the 3 recordings. May not be today, by tomorrow I'll try to upload the recordings.
Yes. And sir, I have missed my attendance in the beginning.
Roll number 288. Okay.
288.
Anyone else?
So 331.
331. Okay.
Sir, 319.
So one by one. 319. Okay.
062.
062. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Chalo. Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, can I have the access to Google Classroom, like for materials and videos?
Yeah, Surajit. Okay, give me a call. I think there are certain restrictions from PGP. You are like attending auditing this, right?
Yes, sir.
Give me a call. We'll discuss. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Maybe just after 7, right?
Okay, sir.